Hi everyone. For those of you who are new, my name is Lorrie Brewer. Welcome to my channel, Artfully Abstract by Lorrie. And welcome back to all of you wonderful viewers of mine who have been hanging around with me forever. Well, my plan for today kind of got derailed just a little bit. Had to change it. I was planning on doing a painting on some black. This is a black 8-inch NARA round. Just the NARA synthetic art paper, which I love this brand. It's really good. Doesn't stain. Holds up to heat pretty well, as long as you're a little bit careful with it. But as a lot of you know who have tried this before, when you paint on black, you have to use a white base under your ink or mixed with your ink to get your colors to show up. And when you do that, when you're using a mixative like the whites, like the Pinata Blanco, I think it is. But anyway, you have to use blending solution because alcohol, even the 99% alcohol, makes it just kind of clumpy looking a lot of times. Or even when you can get it to spread and not clump, it's got this weird grainy look to it that I just don't care for. Well, anyway, all that said, I couldn't find my blending solution. I have no idea where it is. I have almost a full bottle of it, but it has somehow walked off. I have no clue where it's at. It has to be somewhere in my little art room here, but yeah, I don't know where. I've spent the last 30 minutes trying to find it, and I cannot find it. So here's what weird thing I'm going to try today. I'm going to try, the Pinata Brass, which you all know I use all the time anyway, but I'm going to see if this will give enough lightness under the colors to make them visible on the black ink. Or on the black paper, sorry. Since I already have my black paper out, I figured why not give it a try and see what happens, since I don't know what I did with it. It grew legs and walked off or something. So this is the Pinata Brass. This is not diluted with anything. It's just for me, that's just for the ease of application that it's in the needle nose bottle. You saw the big, I love the brass, but I don't want to put it on in that kind of amounts. I'm using Tim Holtz Ranger colors today. Vineyard, Stream, Wild Plum, and Cobalt are the ones I'm going to try. And this is 99% isopropyl alcohol in another little needle nose bottle. Also using, I'm sorry for those of you who are tired of hearing this every video, just, skip through for 30 seconds or be good. Also using my Revlon styling brush hair dryer with the brush attachment removed. This does have a cool setting. That's the reason that I bought this one. I've been using this now for almost 3 years. I love it. Does take some getting used to because the cool setting does blow a high airflow, and it's not actually cool. It's sort of a lukewarm airflow, but it's just about perfect for the alcohol inks. Gives you a little more working time. It doesn't dry your ink quite as quickly as the heat settings do, and you don't have to worry about warping your paper. So I debated on whether or not to put the brass down first or the ink first. So we're just gonna experiment here a little bit and we'll find out. I probably should have picked lighter colors. I'll just go with what I've got out for now. But anyway, we'll just experiment and play around and we'll find out what works and what doesn't, and if this is gonna work at all. So what I am gonna do though is I am gonna put down the brass first, and then I'm gonna try putting the ink on top of it. Actually, I'm gonna go with Cobalt out here. So this will probably keep the brass from floating, and I'm going to use more brass than I normally would. maybe it won't. My ink is just sinking. Look, you can't even see it anymore. So we'll see. This may be a really quick experiment. I won't have much else to have to worry about. Let's see what happens here. I was hoping that the brass would kind of blend with the ink color a little. And it kind of is. I can see it kind of blending in there. Now the amount of brass that I put down in here, I can see this is going to take quite a while for this to dry completely because it's built up. I can see where it's thick looking in there. So I may not be able to get this very wispy looking. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and go through with some color, and then I'll come back and see if there's any way to soften these edges, because this is really thick, really built up thick in there. Oops. Force of habit. Actually, let's try this one this way so we can just see what's going to happen. I don't know why I just put all that ink down. I think I was forgetting I needed to worry about putting lots of brass, not lots of ink or color. So look at the difference between when I put the brass down first, excuse me, and when I put the ink down, the whatever, vineyard, the color down first. The brass really did not blend nearly as much with the ink on this one. So you've got a lot more floating around on top right there. I think it might be a better idea to keep it putting the brass down first. It does make it thicker and it's going to be a little harder to move later, but I feel like you're going to be able to see the color much better with the brass down first, if that's what's helping it blend better with the ink. Well, of course the brass is ink too, so with the color. Still got quite a few chunky bits there, which is fine. I love the brass anyway. That stream is just beautiful with the brass mixed with it. I love that. This is the wild plum now. So that's the last of the 4 colors that I had laid out there to try. My brass kind of sank on that one. Whoa! Whoa, look at the way the brass is floating on this one. That's crazy. You can barely see the color of ink for all the brass floating on top of that. And I put the brass down first there, so who knows? Could be different pigments within the colors of ink that's affecting it. I don't know. Maybe I just blended that one more or used less alcohol. I'm not sure. Not sure what brought that effect about. Yeah, see that the cobalt's doing the same thing again. For some reason, the ink just doesn't want to float as much with the cobalt. So, interesting to know. Always be sure you shake up your brass really good, because the metallic part of it will settle down to the bottom of your bottle. I think that I'm probably going to have a very hard time getting the ink to move much again to try to wisp it. I'm too used to putting the color down first and then the metallic. Didn't leave myself much room right here. Alright, so now let's go back. Now, I made all my shapes too big. I kind of wanted a little more of a, curve down here, but did not manage to do that too good. What I was sitting here thinking about was whether or not to use brass and alcohol again on this, but I kind of don't want to do that because some of these where the brass floated so good, I'm afraid you're not going to even be able to see the color. So let's just find out what happens if we just use alcohol. Pretty much nothing is happening as far as I can tell. It is really just not, it's not picking the color back up at all. So let's see. And this probably won't help either, but let's see. I didn't mean to get that much. Interesting. All right, let's keep going. keep going and see what happens. Because sometimes that's just all you can do. Getting some really thick buildup in there though from the amount of brass that I'm using. Trying to get the alcohol on the color part. Ew, stuck my thumb in the thing. So that maybe it has just a second to start sort of reactivating some of the ink, so that hopefully it will spread a little bit. Sorry, you can see, this is why you got to be real careful when you're using this much brass, because it takes it a lot longer to dry than what you're used to. And that won't matter right now because I'm going to be working on that part eventually anyway. But just a warning to you to be careful of that. It'll be a miracle if I don't do it again though before I'm done. And for those of you who have noticed that I'm not flipping a switch on my hairdryer, I have got a foot pedal that I use to turn it on and off with. This foot pedal is great, because it's a variable speed one. So depending on how much pressure I use, I can actually slow down the airflow on my hairdryer, but I never do that. I'm so used to the high airflow because that was the way that I taught myself to do it, was with the high airflow on this. And I'm so used to it that I can't paint with the low airflow. I'm never happy with results if I try to use it with a lower setting. But it just saves me constantly having to flip my switch on and off. It's a Fordom, F-O-R-E-D-O-M, I think is the brand. It's in my Amazon storefront. I know it's in the US one. I'm not sure about Canada or Europe, because I have had, and I am so sorry to you all from Canada and Europe, I have had no time to really try to get my storefront together and find either the things that I use or something that would be a good replacement that you all have access to. And the link to that foot pedal might be in the list, in the description box. If you pull it down, it might be in the list of my most frequently used supplies that's there, where you don't have to go to my Amazon storefront to find a lot of the stuff like this hairdryer. Foot pedal might be listed there. If you all are getting I've got this thing too close to my head today. If somebody's considering getting a foot pedal, but doesn't want to get this one, I think it was about $40. I can't remember. There are cheaper ones, but be real cautious if you want it for the speed control, because not all of the foot pedals that I looked at have a speed control. Now this one was recommended to me by a user, so I knew that it was gonna be the right thing. It was gonna be, I already knew before I got the foot pedal. I know why I'm pointing at that. I knew that it had the variable speed control on it, and I thought I would use it a lot more than I do. But, like I said, I'm just too used to dealing with the high airflow. So it's hard for me to do it with a slow airflow. But it saves a lot of wear and tear on my hands, especially when my arthritis starts kicking up. It's the worst in my thumb. I can actually bend my thumb today. I am amazed. It's been so rainy and cold and yuck here lately that I've had a few days I haven't even been able to bend my thumb at all. This is actually really kind of cool. I mean, it's definitely not, what I had in mind when I wanted to use the white, but this is pretty cool. And it has let us know that it is possible to use just the brass. Somebody may have already done this. I have no idea. I probably should have looked. I try not to step on other creators' toes if I can help it when I have an idea, because every now and then I'll have an idea and think, ooh, I've never seen anyone do this. And then if I go look, I'll suddenly find that there's several videos out there just like it. Or at least one that somebody else has already had the same idea. So when I know that someone else has had the same idea first, I will always try to tell you all and give them credit for it, because I don't like feeling like I kind of stole somebody else's idea and made it look like I'm the one that thought of it. So if someone else has done this already, I apologize. I was not trying to steal anyone's idea. Just trying to get to paint. I wasn't going to fill this in, but I decided that it was getting so close to the rest of it. Although now I'm wishing I hadn't, but because I was thinking there's just no way I'm going to be able to leave this, any of the black open through here. So I decided to go ahead and try and just fill it in. But I don't know. I really like the way it looks with just that matte black behind the colors. But anyway, for today, I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in, since that's the direction that I'm already heading in. Since I actually think I'm going to put down another drop of this wild plum over here, because I've only got one spot of it there, and I felt at the time like I needed some more, but I was trying not to fill it in. Yes, sweetie. So I'm going to put some more brass here, and I'm going to do just like I did on the rest, just because I want to soften that edge right there where it's joining the blue. This doesn't blend nearly as well with this much metallic in it. So I'm going to try to do what I can there. Let's see, I don't know how much you all can tell, but it really softened that right there by doing that. Sorry, trying to think where I want to go next with this. Kept trying to decide if I wanted to do anything right in here. But I don't want to build up too much more of the brass right there, though. All right, let's start back over here. It needs more pink right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right. Maddie says it needs more pink right here, so I'm going to put another drop of pink. We'll see how that goes. Don't want to put too much because I got a lot of colors close by, but we'll put one more spot of it down here and see what happens. Maddie's pretty creative. She's usually right when she tells me stuff. She's my little artist, budding artist for the family. She loves to do sculptures and painting and all kinds of things. Is that better? So let's see. Let's try and soften this just a touch right here. And then we may be done. Maddie, I believe you were right. That looks really good. Maddie is my just turned 11-year-old granddaughter. I know those of you who have been watching me for a while are familiar with Maddie and Zoe, our granddaughters that live with us, that we're raising. But some of you new people probably have not heard about them yet. All right. I'm thinking maybe I should leave it, although actually I'm thinking no. Don't leave it. All right, Maddie, what do you see that it needs? I know what I see that I think it needs, but I want you to tell me what you think. What do you think it needs? Like probably right in here. Exactly. Great minds think alike. She's so smart. We need some stream in here. I think I'll put the string down first this time, being as I've already got a layer of brass down there. It may help spread it or show up better anyway, since the brass is already down on the bottom there. Find somewhere it's safe to touch. Maddie, while I'm finishing this, you want to show him your little cat head you sculpted for your dad? She can show you this one of her little sculptures that she did the other day. She got some Sculpey clay. Oh, you want me to show him? All right. She just did this little thing real quick. Oh, turn it that way. Did that as a little gift for her dad. You'll see that? How cute. It has glow-in-the-dark eyes. She got some Sculpey clay for her birthday, so she has just been having a grand old time with that. Alright, now I just want to do a little blending. See, now I'm feeling like I need some more of the wild plum color down there. Should ask Maddie about that too. Maddie has definitely got an artist's brain and an artist's eyesight. She loves to look at clouds and can see just, she's never looked at a cloud that she couldn't find shapes in that I don't see until she tells me. Zoe's very different. She has a much more analytical type mind, although she's very creative also. It's in a different way. She likes things more precise, I guess. So I know some of you are probably wondering what I'm doing, why I'm wasting so much time here, but it's these sharp edges. I want blends that are more like what I've got over in here. Now, occasionally you're going to have an edge and that's fine, but there are some that are just bothering me. And I really wanted to try to smooth out some of those. This is kind of looks like some kind of a magical galaxy or something. Lots of gold color instead of white. Unicorn galaxy, huh, Maddie? What do you think? Yeah. Maddie's hanging out here around me at the moment, in case you all wonder why I keep talking to her. Digging through all her art supplies and probably some of mine, which you don't need to get out. She's got boxes of arts and crafts supplies. Both the girls do. Sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm going to make y'all motion sick. I started to stand up so I could see the reflection was keeping me from seeing what I wanted to see, and I forgot that thing was right over my head today. I hope my head hasn't been getting in the way. Alright. My light is terrible today. I'm really sorry. trying to tip it towards the window so you can see a little better. I really like this. It is so cool. I wish that I had some way where you all could see this better. I'm not sure what's up with my lighting. It's not usually this bad. If I turn my other lights down, it's going to have so much reflection. I don't think you can see the colors. There we go. That's a little better.
Zoe's created this is what Zoe made.
I know, I saw that. Anyway, you can see what I meant by looking for the soft, or trying to get that kind of soft blend. I think this is just really, really cool. So, yep, if you know me, if you've watched me before, you know I love shimmer, sparkle, shine, iridescence, holographic stuff. So, I love this. I just think it's really neat. Okay, y'all are tired of hearing me say that now, so I'll stop. All right, well, thank y'all again for tuning in with me and hanging out with me for a little while. And glad that you all got to see Maddie in a little bit of action with helping fix this painting. I might not have gotten it fixed right if it hadn't been for her pointing some stuff out to me. So all of you have a great day. I love every one of you. Thank you all so much for watching. And I will be back sometime soon with something else. Bye, everyone.